With the 2021 NFL season right around the corner, a lot of people are extremely excited because new season comes new changes, such as the big change of a 17-game season. What does that mean for a lot of these individual players? It means that they can etch their name in history by breaking the old single season records that have been lasted for a long time. Some of the most common ones are going to be Eric Dickerson's single season rushing record of 2,105 yards that he accomplished in 1984. Many people have come close. Derrick Henry was just about 100 yards or so away from breaking it last year. All the quarterbacks are going to be able to have a better chance to break Peyton Manning's 5,477 passing yards that he did in 2013, and also the 55 passing touchdowns that he had in that same season. Many receivers can go after Michael Thomas's 149 receptions in a single season, and as well as Calvin Johnson's and Randy Moss's yards and touchdown records. However, there's one record that is not going to be broken this year. I don't think it's going to be broken within the next 10 years, potentially not even this century. And that's going to be LaDainian Tomlinson's 28 touchdown single season rushing record. To fully understand why LaDainian Tomlinson's record will never be broken, you have to look at two parts. You have to look at the 2006 San Diego Chargers, and you have to look at football today. In 2006, San Diego was a very good team. They ended up going 14-2 and actually won the AFC conference regular season title. Got home field advantage. Had a really tough road there. I ended up losing to Baltimore, which was their main home field advantage rival early on in the season, and were 4-2 after their first 6 games. LaDainian Tomlinson had a good start to the season. He had 7 touchdowns, which 473 yards. But he went on an 8-week dominant stretch that absolutely obliterated the entire NFL and the rushing record. Through those 8 games, Tomlinson had 1,153 rushing yards and 21 total rushing touchdowns. That's an average of 2.63 rushing touchdowns per game and 144 yards per game. And it's not really like he was playing against weak competition. Yes, he did play against the St. Louis Rams during this stretch that had the weakest defense, but he did also play against the Denver Broncos, which had the 8th-ranked overall defense at the end of the 2006 season. To show how good they were, they only gave up 13 rushing touchdowns during the whole season. Tomlinson had 6 of those. Now, you might be asking, you look at this season, and that was 15 years ago, why is 28 rushing touchdowns not possible? Why can't Derrick Henry or Dalvin Cook, 2 great running backs of their own right, not break their records this year? Well, you have to look at the way the game has evolved and how the running back position has evolved. In 2006, the running back was the most athletic position on the team. And if not the most athletic, at least the most athletic on the offense. In 2006, LaDainian Tomlinson was one of 23 guys to rush for over 1,000 yards. 7 guys had averaged 20 carries per game. If you look at 2020, last season, there was only 9 guys to break 1,000 rushing yards. One of those was Lamar Jackson, so only 8 running backs. And there was only 1 guy that had an average of over 20 carries per game, and that was Derrick Henry. And the reason why that is important is just the more guys that can have more carries per game, the more opportunity that there's going to be for them to run in a touchdown. But as we're starting to see in the NFL, one of the big transitions of this drop-off of carries per game is teams have started to evolve. They've started to evolve from, instead of handing off the ball to their most athletic player, they've started to just snap it to him directly. In 2006, Vince Young, you could argue, was the most dual-threat dynamic quarterback that any team had. He had 7 rushing touchdowns to go along with his passing performance. You know who was second in the QB total rushing touchdown department? Peyton Manning with 4. However, if you look at 2020, Cam Newton had 12, Kyler Murray had 11, Josh Allen had 8, and Lamar Jackson and Ryan Tannehill tied for 7th. Vince Young would have tied for 4th on the overall QB production list. And this shows the kind of trend that many teams and the way that the game is evolving is that many teams need to have and want to have a dual threat quarterback that can run out of the backfield. But also, not only can they run, quarterbacks have gotten more efficient throwing the ball and more accurate throwing the ball as well. In 2006, I was surprised to see this. David Carr actually led the league with completion percentage with 68.3%. Even though David Carr, we all can agree, was not an elite quarterback, that would have put him 8th overall on highest completion percentage from quarterbacks last year, with the highest being Aaron Rodgers with 70.7. All this adds up to a very difficult scenario for any running back to break LaDainian Tomlinson's single season touchdown rushing record of 28. There's just not enough opportunities. The last guy to break 20 rushing touchdowns in a single season was LaDainian Tomlinson in 2006. The highest total rushing touchdowns in a single season has been 18. There's just not as many guys that can rush, but also there's not as many teams who are wanting to run the ball on a very consistent basis to give a single guy an opportunity to break that record. But now I leave it to you. Do you think someone can break LT's rushing touchdown record in a single season? And if so, who do you think it can be? Do you think it's going to be this year for the next couple of years, or do you think it's going to be a guy we haven't even seen yet? If you have not already, make sure that you subscribe to our channel so you can get notified of when we create new content. Also, like and comment on this video on your overall thoughts. Thanks.